Now let's discuss the definition of a zero vector, a unit vector, and a negative vector. First, let's discuss the negative vector, because to understand what a zero vector is, you must first understand what a negative of a vector is. So the negative of a vector is basically any vector. So let's say this is vector u, when it is multiplied with a scalar -1, we'll call that alpha, right? So alpha u will basically give you the negative of the vector u. So we'll multiply the scalar -1 with the vector u. If the vector u is equal to xy, then when you multiply the scalar -1 with x and y, you'll get negative x and negative y. It's really just that simple, right? So basically, the directions are inversed. And this new vector is denoted by negative u. So basically, the negative of vector u is negative u. Really self-explanatory, honestly. I don't need to explain this. And it is also called the additive inverse of u, or the negative vector of u, right? Now, what is a unit vector? A vector whose magnitude is unity is called a unit vector. Simple, really. So let's say you have a vector a, right? Its unit vector will be denoted by this, a with a hat on the top, right? You'll call this a hat, really. So the unit vector in the direction of a is given by this, right? The unit vector of a is basically equal to the vector a divided by its magnitude. And let me just draw out to explain what this really means, because this is important. So if you have, say, this vector over here, right? Let's say it has a magnitude of 3. It's when you divide this vector by its own magnitude, you'll get a vector in the same direction, in the same shape, but with a magnitude of 1. So this vector here is the unit vector of this vector here, right? Simple. Now, let's see what a zero vector is. And it's very self-explanatory. A zero vector is basically this vector over here. It's called a zero or a null vector. It has nothing in it. 0, 0. And if you have a 3-dimensional vector, it will be 0, 0, 0, right? So how do we get this? Simple. If you add a vector u with its negative vector minus u, that'll give you 0, right? So if u is equal to x, y, obviously negative u will be equal to minus x minus y. And when you add them up, x will be added to negative x, y will be added to negative y. So x minus x is obviously equal to 0, and y minus y is also equal to 0. And that just gives you the null vector 0, right? Simple.